Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hyperspace Cube channel. Yodakiller here, and I'm back at home. This weekend was an amazing Boston Invitational number 2 at Cards HQ in Atlanta, and it was just a fun time playing Star Wars all weekend long. We had 4 events going on. We had the big 3v3 event where we had teams. There was 43 teams there. My team consisted of Qi'ra and Falafel Phil teammates. And yeah, we just crushed. There was 43 teams. We ended up in 10th place. So really great performance. Unfortunately, since there was so many Bothan teams, we ended up having 3. We had team kills, so we had to face 3 in a row the last 3 rounds. So it was kind of unfortunate there, but we did get 3 teams into Top Cut. I myself played in the AK with Cad Tarkintown, was able to get 12th place. Was 6th in the standings, and they combined the 2 pools together to make a top 16. So super impressive, super just happy with my performance, proud of myself and my teammates for crushing it. So today's video is just going to be like a little tournament report on Cad Tarkintown and some of the Secrets of Power's new edition. So this is the build that I played. 51 cards. You know, it was very difficult to make that cut to 50, but super happy with the list. There are changes, of course, that I'll talk about that I want to make, but I wanted to go mid-range. I wanted to get away from the 1-drops. I knew there was just so many cards that were available for this leader, and I wanted to just get back to the mid-range form because I expected mid-range to be something that would be really prevalent, and I was definitely correct on that. So, you know, new additions that I'll talk about is Gurinden, Sudden Ferocity, and then in the board, I do have Arrest. So this is kind of what I went with. But let's talk a little bit about my day. I went 6-0-1 to make Top Cut. And I'll go through each of these matchups. But yeah, basically 2-0'd everyone except for my loss. Here, my only loss was to my teammate Crispy. So first round was against Lau from McClunky Gaming. Hantu Blue, we are favored into that still. And very important, of course, to reiterate, if you've never played against Hantu Blue Force, very important to just maintain board control, keep them off the Force. If they're going to have the Force, give it to them once. From there, just control their units and make them not have the Force in order to be punished by cards like Kiadi giving them more cards. Information is super key, it's everything here. The combination of Bazine and Gurinden, making sure you do have your piece of paper in order to write down the cards that you need is going to be super important, and kind of you'll be able to kind of learn and play around the decks in order to prepare and get ready for that flip turn. And then of course, you know, all in all, it's your leader. It's protecting Cad, making sure that he, you know, can get a Relax for 2 to get a shield. Or capture, you know, they got Rex, which is a very big wall, 6 cost 7/7. Always important to protect in order to close out the game as fast as possible. Then from there, second round was against Wat Tambor, my buddy Crispy, teammate. Kudos to you, brother. You did an amazing build, something that him, Ian, a bunch of people were working on. You can see the this was a on stream, so I'll put that video in the description below. You can watch that. But yeah, very crazy because its flip turn can be going wide very quickly with Chancellor Palpatine putting 2 spies that have Sentinel for the face plus a Jar Jar. You know, here's putting their 5 units on the board. And then if you lead that in with I Am the Senate, now you're dealing with 5 more units and going extremely wide. So this was a really fun matchup, so check out that match because it was really cool. All right, rounds 3 and 4 were against Qi'ra, DV. I won both of those 2-0. Crazy. I did not expect Qi'ra to be there, and I definitely did not expect to be facing it back-to-back rounds. Not only that, but these were back-to-back teammates who were playing the exact same list. It's kind of funny that he was the other opponent that I was facing in the 4th round was around when I was playing his teammate. So then we got paired into each other. So it was just kind of funny. But kind of important notes here. As always, I'm so comfortable playing this matchup, but others that that may not be. And of course, Blue-Green Villainy is still a tough matchup, but I feel a lot better with the tools that I had in the deck. So one important number that you really need to look at, 33 data is data vault, and it's a lot, but I want to look at things into 22. Makes it a very good number to kind of get to. Try to get that as quickly as possible, and then be able to kill them with a sneak attack, a Devastator, sneak attack, Ruthless Raider, making it very, very close for them to die in one another attack. Discard and information is also going to be pretty important. Gryndon, but clunky to bring it back. Gryndon again. Start stripping away maybe the Super Laser Blast or an answer to your Cad Bane leader dying, or their big threat or the barrage. Very important, very key. From there, it is the UO combo. For those of you that know, Arrest is a new card from this set. It's the first time we've ever seen a card like this that captures, that your base captures something. So your base captures the enemy non-leader unit. At the start of the regroup phase, its owner rescues it. One thing though, yes, it is a one-turn action that could buy you by, taking out like an Avenger if you have the initiative, or taking out a big unit, a Devastator, so you won't die. But really the main purpose of this is to combine it with Unrefusable Offer. For those that, cross your showdowns, you might have this in your binder. This is an amazing card. So basically you put this on a unit, and it's a bounty. And the bounty says that, play this unit for free. It enters play ready, and at the start of the regroup phase, defeat it. So what you want to do is you put Unrefusable Offer on an Avenger, for example. You play Arrest, and you do the bounty. So now you get the Avenger on your side. You get the when played, so they have to defeat a unit, and then you attack with it for 8 to the base, and also getting the on attack. So you can kind of see that if you're playing mid-range or playing decks that want to go very, very tall, you punish them by them tapping out, and you go ahead and say, hey, if they got a Devastator, that's my Devastator. I'll hit you for 4, attack you for 9. That's 13 damage. So what this kind of does is you're not afraid to go late against those decks because you have the ability to go, get them and be able to turn the corner and close that out, especially if they have a very big board. Okay, 5th round was against Han4 Tarkintown. Won that 2-0. Very important there to control space. You have a lot of units to do that. And, with IG2K, Tarkintown, McClunky. So this is a very favorable matchup for you. Bamboozle as well to, if they do want to go flip and go very, very huge, you punish them by doing Bamboozle. You save Tarkintown for Falcon, especially the 3/4, the one for plot that gets bigger. So yeah, this is a very good matchup for you. No Couldn't Be Dead, Daring Raids out of the board. It's going to really help to kind of just kill everything that they put out there. So good matchup for us. Okay, from there, 6th round was against Sabe 30. I won that one 2-0. When you're dealing with those double yellow cards, I was able to Gryndon, named Falcon, saw that the opponent had a Bodhi. From there, I drew my cards, had one event in hand, resourced it, played Bodhi, didn't do anything. So kind of those little things that you can do to kind of avoid losing card advantage. Here is very important, just controlling the board, making sure you're not being punished by cunning. Make them use cunning as a defensive card. And then, of course, discard cunning. Try to get that out of their hand. They really rely on the units. So, No Good to Be Dead, Bamboozle kind of turns that off. And from there, very easy matchup by controlling the board. Round 7 was a pair down, and my teammate conceded to me. So thank you, Wes, for that. Thank you, Alex and Reflex, my teammates, for support and help with the math, making sure that everyone is, doing what they're supposed to do, making sure they're playing, taking that draw, in order to make it to top cut. That's the goal. So what they did was you had pool 1, had about 100 players, I think, and then pool 2 that I played in had 122 players. And then you put them together. You got this top 16 till you get a champion. There was definitely a tough path to victory here. All right. But what I want you to know about this bracket here is there is only 2 villain decks. All right. So 14 out of 16 were heroic leaders. I don't know what's going on, but where are our villainy players? This is kind of telling that the strong colors that came out of Secrets of Power really helped these colors shine. So you have here, it was going to be me versus Carlos for late night gaming on Quinlan Tarkintown. If I would have won that, then, you know, the winner of this could have had Wu. And then from there, you're dealing with really, you know, CJ from KTUD. You got Tyler Pasquale from McClunky Gaming. And then on the other side, you know, the only positive thing around here was that, you know, Reflex and I could have faced off for an all Bothan final. So that's the cool thing, that we were on different side of the bracket. I'll tell you a little story about Carlos. Carlos was my opponent that I drew with at Minneapolis. He made top cut. I got 9th place. So we actually never played each other. We've always dodged each other. I've faced many of his teammates, and he's faced many of mine. But we are local. We are, you know, in the Midwest, so I'll see him and basically all the PQs. So we just never played each other. This is the first time. This was on stream. I lost this 1-2-0. So kudos to Carlos for late night. I'm gonna correct this here. So I did actually end up losing to him. This was on the recording. I'll put that in the description below. Lost 2-0. Kudos to him from Late Night Gaming for crushing, making it to the finals. Really cool storyline too is that back in this slide, that if Wu had won his match and Carlos had won his match, that this would be a rematch from the Minneapolis regional that Wu ended up taking down. They actually did end up facing off, and Carlos ended up taking out Wu 2-0. So pretty impressive there. Cool storylines that you can see in SWU, but nothing but love to him. He's an amazing player. So watch that. I mean, it was game one was, you know, a lot of decision points I could have made. Maybe choose to have switched gears to be a little bit more aggressive. I think I would have got that. It was a very pivotal moment. I won't spoil it, but he ended up having 2 Hans in hand. So I could account for 1, but 2 is too much. And then game 2, yeah, my deck just failed on me, unfortunately, and just didn't have any plays, you know, after my first 2 draws. All right, from there, I do just kind of want to just talk about some of the cards that we got. You know, Soul Reading with Garinden, super important unit that we got. Making sure that you know what you're playing and know what you need to play around, or what can stop you from employing your strategy. This is kind of one of those that will reward what's going on the board. What have you seen already prior? You know, what can stop you so you can make that important call with him and you can hit. So this is this really important unit that I think deserves a lot of respect from players, and I think is going to be problematic for a lot of leaders out there. So super important to know, you know, your meta and what you're playing against, so you can make those important right calls the first time with him. At the very least, you do get information if you do decide, if you do miss. I think the biggest thing that got better is the flip. There's so many decisions now that you need to make with flipping Cad Bane. I think the most important one is just making him a bigger unit, a fearful unit. I mean, if you make him a 5/8 with sudden ferocity, now you're hitting for 7. If you decide to combine a Cad Bane flip plus hotshot, you're hitting for 9. I mean, 9 is it's like a truck. You get hit by a truck, and if your opponent has to be very careful, because if he can't kill it and you claim, you're hitting for 9 a game. That's 18 damage in 2 turns, or, you know, 14 damage in 2 turns. So it swings the matchup and closes the clock a lot faster. But I think the most important thing, we need to talk about plot. So plot is the new mechanic for this set that says when you deploy your leader, you can play these plot cards and play them, you know, at the same time that you're deploying your leader. So you can take up to, you know, usually the deploy is 1 action, then your opponent goes, but now you can take up to 3 actions and 1 turn. And so why is this important is you can do Cad Bane flip plus Garinden, and if you do Garinden, it does 2 things. 1, triggers Cad Bane ability right there, right now, so you can kill the unit that is out there. Hopefully you've maintained board control and kill something right away that might threaten Cad Bane. So right there is super key right there. I'll take that any day. The big thing though is Garinden. So, you know, one thing, if you don't know this about plot, is if you have these 2 cards, you got to show them. If you want to play them, show them. But here's where you make those decision points, because the reason why is it stops cheating. So, for example, if I Garinden first and never showed Sudden Ferocity, the resource that you might play might be another plot, and then you want to play that. That's not how it works. You have to show the cards, show your plot cards. But one important thing is, doesn't mean, even if you show them, doesn't mean you have to play them. You're not forced to. So the cool thing is, you flip, show Garinden and Sudden Ferocity in this example. You Garinden, you do the 2 damage from Cad, you name a card that they might have, like Rival's Fall or Anakin, figuring out what information you have prior and deduct to make a good call. If, for example, with Garinden, you hit or you don't hit, but you do see that you need to account for something else, then you're not punished by playing the Sudden Ferocity. You have 4 resources remaining. You can say, okay, I won't play the Sudden Ferocity, but I do have my resources for Relentless Pursuit. Or you can go ahead and play the Sudden Ferocity because you know the coast is clear, and then you still have 1 resource available to play the Hot Shot from hand for all 6 resources to be efficient, or McClunky to bring back Garinden, do 3 damage to something else. So a lot of versatility and a lot of things that you need to think about on the turn. You can also just flip Cad Bane, 2 Ferocity, and go face. Like start the race. So really key things that you need to think about on this. I do want to mention with Sudden Ferocity is, you can play this from hand as well. And if you notice, there's no restrictions here. So you are able to play this on your space units. So just keep that in mind as well, to attack and different angles. All right, let's talk over performers. Sneak Attack Dev combo won me a lot of matches. So really cool, really important. Remember that 22 number, or that magic number that you need to get to in order to pull this off. Sudden Ferocity, like I mentioned, banger of a card. Have 2 at the moment. Do I value this bigger than Hot Shot? I went with a split 2-2, but I will be exploring to see if I can fit either the 3rd Hot Shot, or just need to have 1 in place. But did well all weekend long. You also, that's something that Cad couldn't do right away, is be able to threaten 7 leaders on the flip. So this does this. And of course, a lot of respect. I think a lot of opponents are going to have to respect Garinden. MVP card. Love it. Underperformers. Very, very sad to say this. Neil Marauder. Yeah, just that 1 health really kind of put a damper on things all weekend long. I really wish that, it could be the 3rd power. It makes all the difference. So I think I'm going to be going up to 3 Boba Fett. He's still keen. Still, who would have thought through all this time that 3/5 body is still too good. And then of course I'm going to play around with the Assassin Droid. I think is going to be more of a priority now as my second 3-drop. Jabba was a big disappointment. I only wanted him specific matchups. He's actually coming out of all my matches, just basically matchup dependent, but he was coming out most of the time, so really wasn't able to abuse his power. Leaders on the rise. We got Anakin, who was the talk of the town this weekend. With Data Vault, they got a lot of great cards, a lot of problematic cards. We need to really watch out for that matchup. Piet also got a lot of great tools, and Ray's one that we don't want to see at all. It's a very tough matchup. One thing that I do want to talk about is next steps is preparing for PQs. How to tackle the red-green decks with Karis, Queen Amidala, and Captain Typhoid. Those are problematic units. You're going to have to need Garinden to be able to pull those from their hand and never make them hit the board. If you do, it'll be a little bit tough. That's why I respect and think Bosk is really big, because you can Relentless Pursuit, capture the Queen Amidala, and shoot a spy token. Captain Typho, also Bosk is something that I can deal with, kill it, and survive. Karis is one that you want to Garinden. If you have the initiative, they pass to you. You want to go ahead and make that call and see if you can nab it from their hand right away. I talked about revamping the 3-drop slot. I think that's very important to have the 3/5 Boba, followed by either the Assassin, or I'll try to figure out what's better, more efficient for the deck. Lastly but not, I got a question. Is Jabba a sideboard option now? Can I move away from tricks? I know Anakin's really huge. and Han 1 is really huge, then I think I can pivot to more of a No Good To Me Dead, and then bring a little bit more of the trick package post sideboard. So that's something that I will be testing from here on forward before PQs begin. So if I just want to say that, if you want to chat more with me about the deck, please feel free to ping me in the Bothan Discord. I do have a thread there. We can chat about Cad Bane or any other decks that I'm playing. Last but not least, though, I wanted to say very much special thanks to all my Bothan Network teammates for all the support. Clues and Mickey for giving me the Quinlan reps. I really appreciate it, helping me get prepared, cleaning up those lines. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out, but I appreciate you guys. All the rest of my friends and people that I met that make this community great. I had such a fun time just seeing people that I saw last BIATL, or the people that I've seen throughout all the events, meeting new people, who I've heard of or just heard of me, or just, chit-chatting opponents and having a good time. Thanks to all my friends at McClunky Gaming who are great. Tim and Claire, the best. Love chatting with you both. I had a great time with all my CCC friends, Sharky, Jordan, the whole team. It was great to just, not only that, but also go to the restaurant to drink and have a good time. Just really cool to all my late night gaming friends to see them again and chit chat. It was really cool. To the team, for 3 teams in the top cut for the 3v3 competition, that's amazing. We didn't take it down, but consistency is super important. I'm just really happy for the time we put in to make great teams and comps and work that out, those matrices, to make sure that we are put in a favorable position to be in a position to make top cut. Last but not least, I do want to give a huge shout out to Reflex for making all the way to top 4 with Tarkintown. Crushed it all weekend long. Super proud of both of us. Super proud of you for us for holding it down. Only 2 of us made top cut in the 8K from the rest of the team. So, we put our hat into the ring there. It didn't close it out, but performances were amazing nonetheless. So kudos to you, man. So thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe and like, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.